Morning, everyone. Right, so I haven't got that much time. I'm doing a rush job. Got a bit of a croaky throat. We're going to carry on discussing Elvis's will. Hi, Jane. Jean. Hope you're well. I'm expecting the kids to come down in a minute. As soon as they do, I'll probably go off. I want to play part 2 of the these people that were discussing Elvis and Lisa. And Vernon's will and the insurance, but I just wanted to quickly play this short video, see if I can get it up, of another YouTube channel that is called, let's have a look. Oh, it says, well, I'm not sure what it's called. And let's just play it anyway, because this gives a very quick breakdown in a few minutes of Elvis's will. Let me just make sure you guys can see it. So let's just press play, and what happens, I'm a bit rushing, but good morning to you guys. Thanks for joining me. A lot of you will watch this later. Sorry I didn't have the chance to tell you guys. Hi, Emily. I'm sort of rushing quickly before the kids come. I have had no time to inform anyone. So this gives a very quick breakdown of Elvis's will, and then we're going to hopefully go on to the Kristen and her information on Elvis, Lisa, and Vernon's will. So let's just get on with it before the kids jump on top of me.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Elvis Presley's World. My name is Debbie, and I hope everyone's having a really awesome day today.
So it's obviously then the video channel is called, the YouTube channel, Elvis Presley's World, and it's Debbie. This is her quick breakdown. So we're just quickly reviewing it.
All right, let's get started. Elvis Presley's grandmother, Minnie May Presley, Vernon's mother. Minnie May was born June 17, 1890 in Mississippi, and she passed away on May 8, 1980. 3 years after Elvis's passing, and a year after her son's Vernon's passing.
So it gives us a little breakdown on when people passed. So this is quite important, I think, because obviously eventually Vernon is the one that is left really to make all the big decisions.
She was 90 years old. Elvis Presley loved family, and he loved his grandmother. They had a very close relationship. Elvis often...
We know this, don't we? We know Elvis loved family. He loved his grandmother. They had a very close relationship.
And talked about his grandmother's buttermilk biscuits that he loved. Minnie May Presley married Jesse Presley, July 20th, 1913. They had 5...
So we got that. So Minnie May marries Jesse Presley, 1913.
Children together, but they
So they had 5 children together and they separated,
and Minnie May moved in with her son, Vernon and Gladys. And then in 1954, they divorced. And they were married for 40 years.
So in 1954, they divorced. They were married for 40 years. So do you guys know why after 40 years they divorced? Let's keep listening.
Minnie May lived with Vernon, Gladys, and Elvis at Graceland until she passed in 1980. Elvis called his grandmother Dodger. That was his nickname for her. Minnie May was always there for Vernon and Elvis, especially after Gladys's passing. When Gladys passed, Minnie May and Vernon went to Germany and rented a house close to where Elvis was stationed. No matter what life threw at Minnie May, she didn't let it get her down. Minnie May outlived her son Vernon and grandson, Elvis Presley. She passed away at Graceland in May of 1980.
Okay, so I'm getting my facts mixed up here. So Minnie May outlived Vernon. Right, I need to get that in my head. In 1980, she passes, yeah? Okay, let's keep going.
May was one of the 3 heirs in Elvis's will. Under the terms of Elvis's will, when Vernon and Minnie May passed, then a single trust was to be created for Lisa Marie, which would be turned over to her when she turned 25, which was February 1st of 1993. Elvis Presley loved family. He loved having his family around him. And he loved and trusted his grandmother, Minnie May. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, put a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment below.
Okay, guys. So yeah, so I remember when I'm doing these videos. Morning, Trudy. Hope you're well. When I'm doing these videos, remember I'm acting like a complete novice, like I know nothing. I'm starting from scratch. I learn things and I completely forget them. I've done things on Elvis's Will many times. It all just goes out of my head after 6 months. So we're learning together as Team Elvis. So that gives us a basic breakdown. So then the other video that we were watching yesterday, let's see if I can find it. We were about at the halfway point. Here we go. So let's just keep playing it, and let's just Kirsten is discussing the wills of Vernon, Elvis, and Lisa, and insurance. So we're halfway into it. If you want to watch part one, obviously that's yesterday. Let's just press play and see what she says.
Yeah. So that's what they did. They turned Graceland into basically a museum. And then they went around and they purchased a bunch of adjacent properties so that they could be in control of all the gift shops and all the
development surrounding.
So just so you know, these are just outsiders looking in. They're discussing what went on leading up to Elvis's death, then at the time of his death, and after that they discuss up until Vernon passes, and then the consequences of that, any alterations that were made to the will, and then it jumps forward. At this point, they're discussing the decision that was made, which I think was was already going to happen. Eventually, Priscilla jumps on the bandwagon with everything that had gone on before, with Vernon, with Colonel Tom Parker, with Memphis City, and many other things, with Jack Sodden, with Morgan Maxfield, look him up. Priscilla jumps in. She's always taken all credit for saving Graceland and opening the museum, that it was her idea, which it isn't, and she didn't. They were never going to break up Memphis and sell it off. It was never going to happen. Anyway, so the decision has been made. The Living Museum gets opened. Of course, it was a massive success. They knew it would be, because the gravesides in the meditation garden were being visited daily by thousands of people. So it was never a gamble. Priscilla tries to give the impression that it was a gamble doing the Living Museum. She didn't know if it was going to work. It's all bullshit, guys. Don't fall for it. Yeah, she tries to paint herself as the savior of Elvis and his legacy. It's just crap. Don't fall for it, guys. She jumped on the bandwagon and rode with it. Yeah, that's what happened. It was all happening before Priscilla jumps in. Yeah, don't forget, as soon as Vernon makes her one of the co-executors of the will on behalf of Lisa, Priscilla has almighty power. Yeah, so she can take credit for everything, because who's going to disagree with her? Who's going to say she's lying? Who's going to say to Priscilla, you didn't save Graceland, it was already happening? Who's going to say to Priscilla, it wasn't your idea, the idea was already there, here's the plans to prove it? No one disagrees with Priscilla. This is the problem. And this is part of the con Priscilla has got away with for over 40 years, that she is the reason Elvis is remembered. I think even her own daughter, Lisa, fell for it for a while. Lisa eventually wised up. Anyone that thinks that Priscilla is the savior of Elvis, the legacy, the building, the museum, you name it, Elvis's memory, the reason Elvis is remembered, it's bullshit. None of it's true. She is not. It's all part of a big scam that has been going on, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes for over 40 years. Priscilla has been trying to trick and con the public into believing that she is the big savior. It's bullshit. Now, this is an entertainment show. This is just opinions. So please treat it in that way. Okay, let's keep going, guys.
Development, you don't want a neighborhood with the fence up right up against Graceland.
Yes. You have to have a parking lot and things like that. Okay,
Someone's joined us. Bluebird. Bluebird, welcome to Team Elvis. Yeah, all you have to do is some very basic research to understand that Priscilla had nothing to do with it, that it was already being done by Memphis City, Vernon, Colonel Tom Parker at some point as well. Gracelands was never going to be sold off, ever. This is the big lie. The other thing is the Living Museum, they were already dealing with it. They'd already drawn up all the plans. Everyone was getting ready for opening it as a memorial to Elvis in Memphis, because it was a guaranteed draw for tourism in Memphis. It was all happening. Then Priscilla jumps on the bandwagon and claims that it was her idea, which it was not. She claims that she saved Gracelands, which she did not. Memphis City were never going to let Gracelands be sold off and broken up. So I respectfully say to you, Bluebird, you must do some research. You're welcome to watch our live streams, because all the information is there. Many people, I would say millions of people, have been brainwashed by Priscilla's storyline, which is a fake storyline in this book. Most of what is in this book is false. Many people think that everything is Elvis's fault that went wrong. Priscilla was unfaithful at least twice during the marriage. She demanded a divorce after she was caught being unfaithful. She also ripped Elvis off on the second divorce settlement. So if you are an Elvis fan, Bluebird, and you really care about Elvis and the truth, you will put Elvis first and do some decent research and understand the truth. Yeah, a true Elvis fan cares about Elvis before Priscilla. Elvis is the reason that we're here, not Priscilla. Don't make Priscilla out to be some kind of Elvis. She is not an Elvis. She is an ex-wife that divorced Elvis 5 years before he died and then ripped him off in a very horrible divorce settlement, and was very unfaithful and has mistreated her daughter Lisa horrendously. The treatment of Lisa at the hands of Priscilla is disgusting. She was even abused by Priscilla's boyfriend, Michael Edwards, allegedly for entertainment purposes.
So they turned that $5 million declining estate into about $100 million. By the time Lisa Marie was 25, which is when that trust was to terminate. So now we have Lisa Marie, 25-year-old, $100 million in assets. What do you think about that?
And once...
So, I have to critique this a bit. This is Kristen Howe. She sort of makes it a short story. She says, Priscilla comes along with the co-executors, whatever, the Bank of Commerce, whatever. They do the museum, and suddenly Graceland is a cash cow, and they've raised 100 million. I don't think it's as simple as that. This is a quick chat. But yes, the fans saved Graceland. Yes, Elvis, his body of work, so his music, his movies, his personality, the way that he impacted the world, the love for Elvis around the world saved Graceland. That is why Elvis is remembered today, 2025, because of Elvis, because of the Elvis fans. It had nothing to do with Priscilla. Priscilla has just rode the wave and took advantage of the name Presley and been making money off Elvis's name for 50 years. If you truly look at Priscilla's actions through the years, and you break down what's gone on in the last 50 years, and you properly do your research, you'll realize that Elvis was a victim of Priscilla, and that Priscilla has done a lot of harm and damage to Elvis's image and reputation. So you must try not to be tricked by this book. This book is a fake fairy tale. I would say understand this book, From Here to the Great Unknown, where Lisa speaks much more honestly about her mother, Priscilla. And even this book here, which gives you a complete different understanding of a very young Priscilla that may have even had a plan to meet Elvis with the help of Cary Grant. So it's a complicated story, guys, but all we have to do is go through the decades of all the wrongdoing Priscilla did, not just to Elvis, to her own daughter, to Elvis Presley Enterprises. There's been some serious financial wrongdoings from Priscilla. The public don't know it. Many of the public don't know that Priscilla was unfaithful. Many of the public don't even understand that Elvis and Priscilla were not together when Elvis died, that they'd been separated for nearly 5 years. Priscilla demanded the divorce. A lot of people don't know that. Even the book, Elvis and Me, that was done in 1985, is full of lies. Full of lies. The public just don't know it. And that's why we are here defending Elvis Presley every day, because we want the public to see the truth. So you may have been brainwashed. If you're a Priscilla fan and you don't know all the facts, you may have been brainwashed for the last 40 years. Of course, I'm going to... don't forget, if people want to come on here to defend Priscilla, let's give them the opportunity so that we have the opportunity to show them the truth. Okay, guys? She was unfaithful twice only, and she was rejected by her husband compared to his hundreds, if not thousands, of women. Right, Bluebird, I'm going to try and keep it respectful. If you're rude, I will block you and delete you. So I want to answer your comment. I'm going to do it as friendly as I can. You're very welcome here to have your say as long as you're friendly, okay? Now, first of all, who are the hundreds or thousands of women? Can you prove that? Can you prove that Elvis had hundreds and thousands of women? This is the image that is the fake image that is giving out about Elvis, that all he cared about was having sex with as many women as possible. That's the fake image, the fake story, but it isn't true. If you really understand Elvis and you've done your research, yeah, he had girlfriends. Yeah. A lot of Elvis's life, he was single. Yeah. But he was not after hundreds and thousands of women. That's ridiculous. That's also impossible. Impossible. Now, her being unfaithful twice doesn't that... I'm pretty sure it was more than twice. But okay, if we're going to go along with that, is that okay? Is that okay that Priscilla was unfaithful months after Lisa Marie was born? Literally, Lisa Marie was a baby when Priscilla was unfaithful to Elvis. A baby in nappies. They'd only been married around a year. So within a year of the marriage, Priscilla's been unfaithful with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, which she has admitted in her book. So how is that okay? How is that okay? A baby is born. That means that she was probably having an affair with the dance instructor during the pregnancy. Think about it. If she was unfaithful a few months after Lisa was born, there's a chance that Priscilla was actually having an affair with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, during the pregnancy. Think about it, guys. Hello, mate. Right, so after she was married to Elvis 6 weeks after, yeah, there we are. So Gene says that. When the bodyguards told him about their affair, Elvis told them to mind their own business. Well, which affair are we talking about? Because is it the Steve Peck one or is it the Mike Stone one? Yeah. And even if Elvis did do that, which I don't think he did, can you prove that happened? But does that make it okay? Does that make it okay that Priscilla was unfaithful twice, secretly saw Mike Stone for a year before she was found out? Yeah. And then when she was found out, demanded a divorce. Mike Stone has admitted it. She demanded a divorce. Yeah. Does that make it okay? Does that whitewash Priscilla? Yeah. Now, as far as I can, let me just let the dogs up. As far as I can see, guys, Priscilla during the pregnancy and the marriage was faithful. All right. So I don't have that much longer. Ooh. 1 second. I'm just doing a quick show this morning. Let's let the box out. Just doing a quick 20-minute show this morning, and then we're going to come back. So let me just see if I can quickly answer these comments before we go. So he was having an affair with Suzanne Henning at least 2 years, including after the birth. No, that isn't straightforward. I know about Susan Henning. He had caught Priscilla being unfaithful with the dance instructor. They were making the film Love a Little, Live a Little, wherever it's called. And then it went on to the 68 comeback special. This was after Elvis caught Priscilla being unfaithful. After. I agree. After Elvis caught Priscilla being unfaithful with Steve Peck, yeah, he went back to his old ways. He couldn't bear to touch Priscilla. This is why Elvis stopped having sex with Priscilla, because she had been with another man just after the baby was born. You look, I get it, right? For 50 years, we've had this perfect romance in our heads of Elvis and Priscilla, and it only went wrong because Elvis was unfaithful and took drugs. I understand the brainwashing. We all fell in love with this. Let me just show you this iconic. Let me just get it up on my screen. We all fell in love with this iconic image. Beautiful Priscilla and handsome Elvis, who met in 1959 and was so happy, but unfortunately it all went wrong because Elvis was unfaithful and Elvis took drugs. That's the lie. That is the con. That is the con. When the truth is, once Elvis got engaged, got married, had a baby, they were sorted. They were sorted. Priscilla is unfaithful once. That completely shocks Elvis with the dance instructor. Then they just have a fake marriage until she's unfaithful again with the karate champion. It was obvious that the karate guy was humiliating to Elvis because Elvis looked up to the karate world. So, and remember, he wanted a trial separation when she was 7 months pregnant. What? Right, okay. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, the dogs are in and out. No one really, do you know what? No one actually knows that he wanted a trial separation. I know, I've heard it again and again. People keep telling me Elvis wanted a trial separation. Does anyone know that happened? Is there any proof? Now, whether it did or not, does anyone know why? Does anyone know why? Yeah? Who knows why? Maybe Elvis had caught her being unfaithful. Maybe, remember what I just said to you just now? That there's a possibility she was seeing Steve Peck during the pregnancy. No one knows why. If that did happen, no one knows the real reason. It's very. Your problem is Bluebird. I'm aiming this at Bluebird. Your problem is that you are leaning to Priscilla. I don't understand it. Are you an Elvis fan, Bluebird? Can I ask you this question? Are you an Elvis fan? Because if you're an Elvis fan but you're supporting Priscilla, it doesn't make sense. And I say that with respect. Who do you love, Elvis or Priscilla? Which one is it? Does that mean that Priscilla was not in love with Elvis, who was the fantasy of all women? She preferred her lovers to Elvis, the beautiful, nice. She preferred her lovers to Elvis. Interesting question. Welcome, Mauna. So dogs are barking away. Where are they? 1 second. Let me just let the dogs in. Sorry, guys. At least we've got a cup of tea. Right, okay. Right, go on. All right, go on then. Go on, you come in if you want. Go on, you go. It's all right, the dogs want the toilet. I'll keep going until the kids come down. Right, hi Nancy, morning to you, hope you're well. I know he was faithful, good morning, when he got engaged, because the one actress he was in the movie with, she was married. Elvis told her, I'm engaged now, and he's still all married. Nothing happened. Thanks, Nancy. Look, when people join us that are Priscilla fans, it's okay, because then we can try and change their mind, try and let them know the truth. I agree, Elvis never wanted to marry anyone, but why didn't he get rid of before then? He had ample time. Well, it's Bluebird. It's very complicated, isn't it? Now, I don't agree that Elvis never wanted to get married. I think once Elvis got famous, he didn't want to get married. I think Elvis, before he got famous, would have loved to have got married and had kids. Everything changed once he got famous. A new Elvis emerges because, come on, he's loved around the world by every woman on the planet. He's got wealth that he could never have dreamed of. Everything changes once Elvis had the temptation of being very wealthy and a man that every woman on the planet loved. So, did Elvis want to get married? he probably, I would say, just my opinion, he probably wasn't ready to get married until he was in his 40s. So the point that you make, why didn't he get rid of her? Well, again, there's complicated circumstances, because Elvis, obviously, he clearly liked Priscilla. That's how she eventually managed to eventually get to live in Gracelands when she was nearly 18. So it was a tough one. He liked her. We're not going to get away from the fact that he liked her and that she liked him. What we're trying to understand is what was Priscilla's motives. But then Elvis, who in the 60s was still seeing other people, initially still seeing Anita Wood. In the 60s, he had lots of girlfriends. But remember, Elvis didn't get engaged till 1966. He was making all his movies. He had many different girlfriends, including Anne Margaret. So Elvis lived as a single man through the early 60s. In 66, I think he tried to change. He tried to settle down. He tried to calm down so he could be a good husband, a good father. But it was short-lived because Priscilla was very quickly unfaithful. There's even some evidence that shows that she may have been unfaithful between 1961 and 1965 with a couple of other people. So it's not straightforward. She could have found better while it was a fantasy of everyone, Elvis, until today. I don't understand. Well, I just think, come on, the best looking man on the planet, the most famous man on the planet. Priscilla wanted him. Priscilla wanted Elvis. Yeah. Whether she loved him, I don't know. She wanted him. She wanted him. She was going to get him. And she did get him. But this was a slow process that was a manipulated process on and off. She did play on the fact that it was obvious Elvis did like Priscilla. Now, did Elvis love Priscilla? I don't know. He was taken by her, yeah, her beauty, and he couldn't get her out of his head. I agree with that. But he had many, many other girls, of course, until they get to the point of becoming engaged. We don't know why Elvis became engaged. Was he forced? Was he blackmailed? Was he pressured? We know that he did not want to get married. That's pretty obvious. So the whole story is complicated. Remember, we're talking about the 50s and 60s. It's very different times, different rules. Yeah. So Elvis may have felt completely pressured to marry Priscilla, reluctantly marrying her, trying to do the right thing. Elvis obviously was a very religious man, so his own moral compass kicks in as well. So who knows? No one knows. We weren't there. All I know is that they were not right for each other. They were not right for each other. And Priscilla, her trying to come across as a sweet, innocent person that had fallen in love with Elvis is bullshit. She had a plan. She was very, very interested in becoming successful, famous, a model, a businesswoman, an actress on TV, in films, and many other things. There was a whole side to Priscilla that Elvis didn't know about, that we do know about. We, the public, we, the Elvis fans, we know exactly what Priscilla wants in life. She wants attention. She wants fame and fortune and power and men. Remember, Priscilla fancying other men was a big thing. She seriously did fancy other men. Remember that. So all of that in the mix, Elvis, I think, eventually was a victim of Priscilla. That's my opinion, guys. Right, let's have a look. So I'm just, sorry, the comments jumped up. Let me just quickly, right. Let's have a little look here. Okay, so welcome to everyone that's joined us this morning, by the way. Quite early in the morning for me. I'm not awake yet. So a big Elvis fan, but he was notorious womanizer. The fact that he could never be faithful to any woman. Right. I could say the same thing about Priscilla, couldn't I? What is the word for womanizer for a woman? I could say the same thing about Priscilla. Yeah, she loved her men. She loved her men. So I could turn that around on you. I could also, Bluebird, I could also say that Priscilla could never be faithful. So what you've just said about Elvis, I say about Priscilla, because we've proved it. We've proved that she liked her men. She was unfaithful many times, not just twice, I don't think. Now, Elvis, it's very well known that many of the women that Elvis befriended, it had nothing to do with sex. He befriended them. Yeah. Now, for you to just assume that all Elvis was interested in was shagging women and bedding as many women as possible, it's just, you obviously haven't done enough research to know the true Elvis, the real man. Please just do some more research, because if you call yourself a big Elvis fan, now of course you love his music, his movies, his personality, the way he looked, but you don't know his heart. If you think that all Elvis cared about was just shagging loads of women, you don't know Elvis. You don't know Elvis. You haven't done the research. You don't understand Elvis the man. If you think Priscilla is more important than Elvis, you have got it wrong. You have got it wrong. Right, and guys, well, the kids are here. And like Emily says, you're not the first of all. No, just go put that on TV, guys. You're not the first to fall for Presley. Hi, kids. Hi, Tina. Are you okay? Just find a film, mate. I've nearly finished now. Anyway, I'm coming off. I'm going to make some breakfast. Elvis and Priscilla to move out even packed her bags and told the guys to take her back to her parents. Right, I don't know about that bit, Pat. Okay, let's keep going. I think he liked Priscilla. He cared about Priscilla. He felt obligated to Priscilla. That's not being in love. That's why he didn't go with Anne. Hi, Nancy. Well, it's complicated, yeah. We need to do a whole live stream on the Anne Margaret thing. It's obvious that Elvis liked Priscilla, because otherwise she would never have got to Graceland. But how much he liked her, was it love? I'm not sure.
Dad, I got a remote.
You got a what? A remote? Okay, you know how to do it, don't you? All right, go on then. Bluebird, you can't condemn Elvis for being a human being. After all, the most beautiful looking man. Yeah, but he wasn't just interested in bonking everyone. I would say Elvis got bored of sex. Come on, if you got sex on a plate every day, 5 times a day, you're going to get bored of it. Seriously, guys. What about the men Priscilla had? At least the ones... Yeah, there we are. That's good. Hi, Kate. Good morning. Nancy Simmons, I'm sure he loved his wife and loved being married, but faithful he could not be. Well, he was... Think about it, Bluebird. They were only married for about a year, then she was unfaithful. You got to remember, this wasn't a long marriage. This was a 1-year marriage, and then she was unfaithful. Remember that, guys. Yeah? What are you in a rush for? Are you going somewhere?
I booked a lesson for half about 9.
All right, okay. Hello, beautiful.
Where's my phone?
That's it. Do you want to try this one?
No.
Next to my bed, maybe?
I don't want to do
The family is alive. Come,
that.
do you want to come say hello? Say morning. Morning to you, Elvis. Go on, go see if you can find it, yeah? All right, go on, then take it. Right, just trying to answer these last few comments, and I'm going to come back for a part 2, guys, because my world is awake. I need to give everyone breakfast. Priscilla wouldn't move out, tried to make her happy, to give her everything a girl couldn't want. Okay, this is Pat's views. I see it a bit differently, but okay. But Pat, thank you. Nancy, I'm inclined to agree, but also believe Elvis was in love and Margaret, and 3 weeks after the marriage, he ran back. That I need to do a whole live stream on Anne Margaret, because that is a complicated story. So it's okay for him, but not for her. I think I've answered that question already. Bluebird, no, he didn't like being married. Now he did not like being... All right, what do you want? Do you want some Weetabix? I can make some toast. All right, I'll get you some toast. I disagree with that he cared about Priscilla. That's not the same thing as being in love. Thanks, Nancy. All right, I'll do both. I'll do Weetabix and toast. Do you want that? Do you want a bit of burnt toast? He likes burnt toast. All right, I'll do you both. Elvis did suggest a separation when Priscilla was 7 months. Could it have been because he was disgusted at the affair with Steve Peck? How do we know it wasn't going to happen? I understand that comment, Kate, but do we know it happened? Can we? I always say this because I keep getting this said to me about this 7 month suggested separation. But do we know it happened? Come on, can we prove it? This is one of the things that is said. We can all guess that if it did happen, why it happened. Yeah. So I love proof. I love proof. Now, if Elvis was in an interview and said after 7 months, now when Priscilla says it, I don't trust her. I don't trust her. It could all be part of the story. Turn it down a bit, Tina. It could all be part of this story, couldn't it? Just, we don't know. It's been in movies. It could all just be made up for TV, for movies. Yeah. I'm never, when I hear stuff to do with Elvis and Priscilla, generally, I read between the lines and think to myself, is it true? That's how I am. I won't just go, okay, that happened. If people have repeated something again and again and again, thousands of times for decades, doesn't make it true. So the 7 month thing, I want evidence. It could be true, but it may not be. Tina, let's have a look. Bluebird wrote that in a book. Bluebird, who wrote that in a book, did Elvis write that? Let's have a Bluebird, the relationship was toxic from the beginning. Make it. Tina, turn it down, please. Right, Nini, I'm just catching up with these comments and I'm going to go and sort the kids out, guys. The relationship was toxic from the beginning. Make it your business to find out the truth. Yes, great advice. Emily, great advice. All Elvis girlfriends say the same thing. He could never be favourable to one woman. Yeah, but what has that got to do with Priscilla? Remember, Elvis divorced Priscilla. But between 1971 and 72, she had a secret affair with Mike Stone. And then it was all off. Game over. Well, they married in 1967, May the 1st. She was unfaithful a year after the marriage. So when you bring up other women, yeah, he had loads of other women. Elvis was single, but from 1970 to really 71 onwards, yeah. Even if we go by the official date, 73, Elvis was single. So what are you saying? He had many different girlfriends, but Elvis lived as a single man from 1971 onwards, really. Even in 1959, when Elvis briefly met Priscilla, he had other girlfriends. He had 3-4 girlfriends in Germany. When Priscilla moved over in around 1963 to Graceland, Elvis had other girlfriends. Yeah, Elvis didn't settle down and get engaged till 1966. Okay, and I gotta go, guys. So it isn't straightforward. You know, you talk about Elvis as if he was married for 10 years. He wasn't. It was a couple of years. Yeah. So you got to see the whole picture. You got to break down each year. Break it down. What happened in that year, in that year, in that year, in that year. Then try and understand what was happening with Priscilla in that year, in that year. And then you get a picture that the marriage was very short. It was a very short marriage. A couple of years. Even if you include the fake years, because I think 1968 and 69 were fake years. It was a pretend marriage. And then Priscilla is unfaithful with Steve Peck and Mike Stone quite close together. So you have to understand the story. Let's have a look. So last comment, guys. I already said that he did not want to get married. I also said, why didn't he not let her loose as he had ample time? Well, I could say, Bluebird, I could say to you, why didn't she go back to her parents? Couldn't I? Bluebird, you say, why didn't he let her go? I say, why did she go ahead with the marriage? Why did she not move out and move back in with her parents? Yeah, so we can turn it around, can't we? Why is Elvis the one that's being blamed for everything? In the same way as you say Elvis should have let her go. Elvis didn't trap her. Remember, Elvis didn't trap Priscilla. She wasn't a prisoner. Right, I'm going to come back for a part 2 because otherwise my son's going to attack me. Yeah, man. Right, just quickly reading these last 2 comments. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. Gotta go. Do you want to say that? Come on, say that. Oh, where's your Minecraft toys? Did you not bring them down? Did you not bring down your Minecraft toys? Didn't you? What do you want to say? Do you want to sing a song? The way she walks, the way she. What do you tell them? What you want for breakfast?
Toast and water.
Toast and he loves burnt toast with butter. Burnt toast with butter. Bluebird, don't worry. I respect everyone's right to have their say. No offense, Bluebird. I do think your opinions are a bit too biased to Priscilla, which doesn't make sense because you're an Elvis fan. Yeah. I also think you do just have this thing in your mind that Elvis, a typical man that just wants to shag everything and be unfaithful. Elvis wasn't like that. Elvis wasn't a typical man. Yeah. He had a beautiful heart. He was a Christian man. Yeah. So if you break things down and understand, Elvis did give in to temptation, 100%. Money and fame did affect Elvis. Yeah. So, he probably, I would say even Elvis would admit he did many things he regrets, but he wasn't just out and out trying to shag everything he could get his hands on. He wasn't obsessed with having sex. That isn't Elvis. That isn't Elvis. And seeing him in that light is a mistake. You need to understand the human being better. Now, Priscilla, you can look at her actions not just towards Elvis, but towards her own daughter, Lisa, and it gets very complicated. So Priscilla, we can expose hundreds of things that she's done that are wrong. Elvis, it always comes down to one thing, doesn't it? That he couldn't be faithful. I repeat, Elvis, it always comes down to one thing. He couldn't be faithful. With Priscilla, it's dozens and dozens of things she has done that is wrong. Seriously wrong. Anyway, guys, I'll be back for part 2. Take care, guys. You can... Bye-bye. Leave it in the comments, anything you want to say. I'm going to read your comments now, and we'll come back and do part 2.